You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Tuesday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby.
It's podcast 99 today.
It is tomorrow is the 100th podcast, man. Ooh. And we are going to do nothing special about it.
Yeah. I just realized right now, yeah. So we're on our Wayne Gretzky podcast.
Oh, that's right. This is the old Wayner podcast.
I always hate it when I see people wear the number 99 because I'm like, you're not that guy, pal.
It just feels bold, you know? Like, same with if you got a basketball jersey with 23 on it. It's like, what are you implying at this point, right? Like, everybody knows that number universally across all teams. And you're saying you're at least the Wayne Gretzky of your team?
That's Come also on. Like, I always hated growing up. There would always be like one kid that played defense that would wear number 4 because his dad was like, number 4, Bobby Orr. Right? Yeah. Classic thing. And it's like, I don't know, man. You're more of an Aki Berg, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? It's like, you know how when people talk about music and you start to hear songs that sound similar and they go, hey, listen, there's only a finite amount of combinations of music. Eventually, it's all going to sound the same. Same with sports. Eventually, we're going to have a good player for every number. But you can't be the best player to ever play the game. You cannot wear 99. It's just not okay.
I bet you there's probably a lot of kids that are rocking like the 87 nowadays because of Crosby or number 8 because of Ovechkin. Which actually, I don't think I know this. What is your favorite number?
My favorite number is 13.
13?
Yeah, which before I knew...
Just because it's unlucky?
No, before I knew that it was like edgy and cool to like 13, it was my mom's favorite number when she played softball. So I was like, that's cool. And then I found out 13 is like supposed to be unlucky or whatever, and I was like, that is kind of fun.
I got different numbers for different sports, actually.
Did you?
Yeah. So it was like 16 in hockey, because Darcy Tucker was my guy.
Okay.
And then I was 22 in baseball and 22 in lacrosse.
Now, what brought you to 22?
I don't know. I actually don't know, but I remember being very adamant that I had to be number 22.
Was 2 taken? And because some kids will do that,
I don't like
right?
number 2.
Isn't that why Gretzky took 99? Because he wanted Gordie Howe 9 and it was taken.
Yeah.
So he doubled it up.
Yeah.
But you weren't a number 2 guy.
Yeah, I think in baseball I just got handed to it, but I remember in lacrosse, maybe it was like the number they gave me when I played like Tykes or something like that.
See, and I will say, because I didn't play a lot of organized sports outside of school, and for at least my high school, the jerseys were numbered in order of size. Like, the higher the number, the bigger the jersey.
Yeah.
So as a big kid, I wore a lot of like 13, 20, that sort of thing, depending on what the sport was.
It was funny playing hockey growing up. You always knew that you weren't going to make the team if you got one of those high numbers in tryouts.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you showed up for tryouts and they gave you like a 62 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, your dad just wasted like $400. It was a guarantee right there.
There should be like an early opt-out fee. Like, you paid $400, then your son was assigned 62, and you're like, if you give me $100 back, we'll leave right now. We understand the message. Just let me have some money back.
Oh, man. Rep hockey teams need as much money as they can. Those tryouts, they already know who's on the team before they even get there.
This is all just a cash grab?
Yeah.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Stanley Cup is making its rounds with the Florida Panthers this summer, and Alexander Barkov had his day with the cup in Finland last week.
Right on.
And I believe this is a first ever for Lord Stanley.
Okay.
But if you look at this here.
Yo! Okay.
Alexander Barkov got his buddy who's a professional skateboarder to do the first ollie over the Stanley Cup.
So there's a ramp and stuff like that, and it's done and it's cool. It's cool that got done. But oh my God, I was having heart palpitations watching him on the ground. What if he lands on the cup?
Well, that's the thing that I'm wondering. A million crazy stories about the Stanley Cup. There's Guy Carbonneau at the Pantera guy's house throwing it in the pool, all this stuff. It's been at the bottom of Mario Lemieux's pool. It's been all over the world. But look at Phil Pritchard's face in this photo.
Oh, he's stressed.
Is that an impressed, or is that a, please don't hit it?
I think that's all he's thinking is this, please don't let this be a historic moment for the Stanley Cup. You know what I mean?
If you want to see the photo for yourself, text cup to 762-555.
That's a sick picture, though. For that skateboarder, That is the picture that will define him.
I mean, also for him, I don't think it matters if he hits the cup. Like, he'll get over it.
He's not worried about it,
yeah,
right?
It's not a big deal.
Barkov is probably a little bit stressed. Pritchard looks like he's going to have a heart attack.
I always feel like being the keeper of the cup is kind of like watching someone else's dog. Like, it's pretty chill for the most part, but if something goes wrong...
You're really stressed out. Anytime they have like a weird noise or they start doing something funny, you're like, oh no.
Have you ever had to... were you ever like a best man for someone? Like, I was my dad's best man this summer at his wedding, and I had to hold his ring all day long.
Oh.
The stress of having that on me, like...
I was the best man one time, and brother forgot his speech, and I had to drive from one end of Edmonton to the other to get it for him. And even that, as I'm driving through traffic, I felt like I was driving an ambulance. You know, I was like, that sense of urgency. Like, I have to make this work.
That's what I imagine Phil Pritchard's day is. It's kind of like being the keeper of the cup. It's similar to like when you had a party in high school.
Right.
At your house.
You couldn't quite enjoy it because you were a little bit, at the very least, a little bit stressed about everything that was going on.
You got to imagine there's times where he starts having drinks with these guys, and then all of a sudden he starts seeing someone, and he's like, please don't pee in it. Please, guys.
Do you think hockey teams and hockey players treat Phil Pritchard like a wingman? You know what I mean? Like, they're like, all right, listen, I'm going to go do something crazy with the cup. I need you to distract Phil. I need you to keep his attention.
Yeah.
Wingman Phil for me.
It's got to be a long summer for Phil. I mean, I guess the good part is I'm pretty sure that there's at least 4 guys from the Hockey Hall of Fame that kind of rotate. So it's not just Phil Pritchard. He's just kind of like the Justin Timberlake of the keeper of the cups.
He's the face of the operation.
He's the front man of it all, you know?
Yeah. And you're like, there's perks, right? Like, he gets to travel the world, he gets to meet all these people and see all these things. But you're right, he's probably prevented from enjoying them to their fullest extent because he's sitting on a curb in Finland going, if this friggin' guy lands skateboard first in the bowl of the cup, my summer is ruined.
Yeah, that guy goes, so sorry. And his day goes on.
That's not what he says. Sorry, I missed it. What does he say?
So sorry. That's my bad.
Your Finnish is expert.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
There's this company called Preply, and they do like language learning and stuff like that, but they also do surveys. And they did a big survey of a bunch of cities throughout Canada to determine the rudest Canadian cities in the country.
Oh, is there like a top 5?
There is a top 10, as a matter of fact. Shout out to Sudbury for coming in at number 9 on that.
Rudest cities?
Yeah. Just beating out Winnipeg. But apparently, you can still hold some pride. The number 1 rudest city in Canada, according to this survey.
Can I take a guess?
Oh, sure.
Is it Toronto?
It is not Toronto.
Oh, really?
Not even in the top 10.
What?
Not in the top 10 on the average rudeness score.
Wow. Okay. What's number 1?
Vaughan,
Ontario?
Vaughan, Ontario.
I mean, that's basically Toronto.
For the purposes of this study, it was its own place. It finished at number 1, just beating out Coquitlam and Brampton for your gold, silver, and bronze.
Brampton doesn't surprise me either that it's on there. I mean, Vaughan makes sense. There's a lot of people that just have road rage trying to get to the mall there, or Canada's Wonderland, basically.
Number 4, Surrey. Number 5, Windsor, bringing Ontario back into the list. Ontario showed up very well on this list.
Yeah. Oshawa on there at all?
No Oshawa.
I guess it's not rude. They're more honest about it. They just get right to it.
It's just the stabbiness of it.
Yeah.
Like, stabby is rude, but in a different capacity. Thunder Bay was on there as well. Regina, Edmonton, Sudbury, and then Winnipeg.
What were the parameters on being rude, did they say?
So they did look into a few different things. The most common rude behaviors included being absorbed in your phone, like constantly on your phone, ignoring the people around you, being noisy in public, traffic violations, cussing was also one. And I thought this was interesting because we always know on this show what's one thing that drives you the craziest about human behavior.
People not picking up after their dogs?
Don't go to Guelph. Guelph scored as the most likely city to exhibit the bad behavior of not picking up dog poop.
They don't poop and scoop.
They don't poop and scoop. Not nearly enough, anyway.
How did they... How the hell did they figure that out?
So they basically, that's the thing.
Did they send people around and they were just scoping it out?
No, they interviewed people because they wanted this from the perspective of the people who lived in this city. Is your city rude? Are your people bad?
Huh.
So they asked people, and more people in Guelph than anywhere else were like, the big problem here is people don't pick up their dog crap.
Yeah.
So apparently Guelph got bombs, you know what I'm saying?
That's interesting.
If you want to know, Vaughan was apparently obsessed with their phones, and Saanich, which is in British Columbia, scored bad in not slowing down when driving near pedestrians, which that's got to be the worst one, right?
Yeah.
Is almost murdering people. Like, dog crap, hitting people with your car. It feels like the parameters are uneven a little
I
bit.
wish I heard about this survey because I feel like our city could have been ranked like more in the top 5 easily in all of these categories. I feel like if you talk to me, I would have got our city in at number 4 or number 3 at least.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Vaughan, Ontario, that hit an 8.05 out of 10 on the rudeness scale that they put together here based on things like not slowing down around pedestrians, not picking up your dog crap, having bad body language, not waving thank you to cars that let you merge.
That does piss me off. That actually grinds my gears so bad when you let someone in and they don't give you the little courtesy wave.
Another survey part of the study was cities where they swear the most. So they would ask the people that they were doing this survey, how many times do you swear in a day? And I'll tell you right now, Ontario represents.
Hell yeah, dude.
6 out of 10 in the top 10 cities of most swears per day.
Swearing is healthy for you.
How much do you think? I'll tell you, Burlington finished number 1 as the city in Canada with the most average swears per day. What's the number, do you think? How many times do you think the average Burlingtonian is dropping bombs?
Well, I grew up there for a bit, so I'm trying to think of my parents. I'm going to say 60?
60?
60 times a day?
Damn, 15.
That's it?
That's what they're saying. The most swears per
That's
day.
That's rookie numbers, dude. That can't
15.
be true.
So to be fair, that's
they got
the average.
They got the QEW there. They got the Skyview Bridge and everything like that. There's no way that's true.
That's the average, which means that there are people who would be well above it. Your parents, assuming.
I'm not just saying my parents. I'm saying everyone in general. There's no 15 swear. How many times do you think you swear a day? It's got to be over 15.
I would say I'm probably a solid 20 a day.
I think we've sworn 10 times before we even came on air.
If it's a particularly stressful day, maybe I get into the 30s.
I'm going to Google something here. How many times does the average person swear a day? 80 times.
80 times a day?
Research shows that swearing makes up around 1% of someone's daily vocabulary. The average person swears around 80 times a day.
Damn. So apparently the stereotypes of Canadians being more polite might hold some water.
It turns out that Canadians just lie. That's what it is. I was going to say, that just seems like such a low number.
It does. To drop 15. Well, I guess this is also in public. So maybe this doesn't count. Like the idea is being rude in public. So maybe they're not counting like swears with your buddies and stuff like that.
Behind closed doors.
Right.
Yeah.
The idea of 15 open rips, like when you're in traffic or you're on the street or something like that, that's a little more manageable.
The traffic one,
Still
I disagree.
feels low?
Yeah. When you're in your car, it may be an open bubble, but I feel like it's, I don't know.
Is swearing really even, like, unless you're swearing at somebody, like if I'm swearing at you, probably being rude. But just swearing in general, are we ready to accept that in the English language it's not actually that rude to just
it's all
cuss?
depending on how you do it. I mean, you look in like the UK or Australia, like the C-bomb is just casually tossed around out there versus if you say it here, it's like people shudder.
If you say a C-sharp, people will have a physical reaction to it. Whereas it's a term of endearment. If you have Australian friends, it is stunning how well and effectively they use that word.
Yeah, it's all about how you use it, the power of the word kind of thing. But I just feel like if you went to a construction construction site today.
Yeah.
I guarantee you those fellas are most definitely like over that. What did I say it was? 80 swear words a day?
So you think it's higher than, say, Kingston is at the bottom of the top 10 and 10th with 10 swears per day.
That's a damn lie.
You think? I feel like just between the two of us, we would bolster that number.
That is a damn lie. I wonder how many times people lie a day is what they should have really surveyed people here.
You don't think St. Catharines is only dropping 12 3825s a day?
Oh, dude, I live there, man. The people that hung out on the street outside of my house, they swore that in a minute. I want to see something here. 762-555. How many times do you swear a day?
Yeah.
Think about it. How many times do you roughly think you swear a day?
Because Preply.com is willing to call Burlington one of the rudest cities in the country because they swear on average 15 times a day.
How many people woke up this morning, the first thing they said was,
It's not the first thing, but when my second alarm went off and I had to get out of bed, yes.
The best part of waking up is that you get to say...
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
A team from the University of Denmark set up an experiment. They were trying to find out what is the most dangerous type of paper. I know. Sometimes science is doing great things. Other times you're like, how much weed are you guys smoking?
How do you come to this study? But that's fantastic.
Because they were trying to figure out like what papers give the worst paper cuts and stuff like that. And it turns out that they determined, that it actually is, remember that like fax machine paper? With the dots on it there.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they determined is the worst paper for paper cuts. It's that, and then they say magazine papers as well.
Really? I wonder if that's just because they're like so fine, but they have like a little bit of strength to them?
They say it's the thickness of around 65 micrometers is the best, or I guess the worst.
That's the best for slicing?
And they say if it comes in at a 15-degree angle, that's how it gets the good sliceage there.
There you go. If you're reading a magazine, if you're in a doctor's office, no 15-degree angles, all right? Take care of yourself.
They also say that they have came up with the first paper machete.
Sorry, what?
This team decided to create a knife made out of paper that they say could cut through chicken.
So they're villains, is what this is. These are evil scientists.
I have no idea what they're trying to do right now.
There's no benefit to humanity by creating a machete out of paper. They are clearly evil.
Also, my thing with like any sort of kind of trials and practices, or studies rather, is like, did they try this out on humans? Do you think they had like a bunch of people in a lab and they were just like running different papers on them till they figured it out?
Is this one of the few scientific studies where you try it on humans first? Like, would people have been freaked out if they found out they were paper cutting mice?
Yeah, and then they like the angles, they made them do it multiple times to see like the precision cuts.
Just holding your arm out. There's a protractor on there. Like, okay, we're going to try 15 degrees now. That's the bad one.
Oh, just trials of people just holding out the webs of their fingers.
You know how you hear about people who will like volunteer for human testing in these studies and scientific surveys and stuff for a little bit of extra money? Give me all the unlabeled pills you want, all the medical trials. I absolutely will not go in for paper cutting testing.
No, that'd be a psychopath thing to do, man. I mean, like, dude, I cut the back of my knee on a cardboard box a few weeks ago. And I felt like I was being taken out with a sword.
Right. You're just down, Courtney finds you in a lump.
Yeah. I felt like I was in like Lord of the Rings or something. Like,
dude, have you ever gotten one right in the webbing? Thumb and index or pointer finger?
That's one of the worst spots.
It's just, I don't know what is on the inside of that, and it's like, it's one of those things where it never heals or it takes forever to heal.
The knuckle, those like little grooves in your knuckles there, those ones suck. Or if you get it under your fingernail.
Yeah. Oh, dude, trying to like open packaging and stuff like that. And you get that like, it just loses your grip and just, and it just, every time. And then you'll forget about it long enough to like eat a tomato or something. Something with just a little acidity.
Oh, anything with like citrus in it, game over.
You'll go swimming in a chlorine-filled pool and you'll just be like, ow, 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 ow. Everything hurts.
A paper cut's good enough to ruin the rest of your week.
100%. Yeah. Absolutely. Like, people always make fun of, like, oh, did you get a paper cut? Like, no, devastating. Yeah. Absolutely ruin your day.
Turns out if you have dot paper or magazines, it's a lethal weapon now.
Throw them all out. Put them all in the recycling.
Imagine showing up to a street fight and you just got a bunch of hustlers. You don't know who you messed with, brother. Papers would be sticky too already.
That's I was gonna say. It's hard to get the fine pages when they're all stuck together. You know.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We got friend of the show, Mike, on the phone. Mike, what's the worst place you got a paper cut, dude?
Well, I was working and I was licking envelopes, sealing them, and got a paper cut right across my tongue.
Oh God.
Yeah, that was the worst. Definitely the worst, and I've never ever licked another envelope ever again.
No, that's one and done, right? You'd use like a sponge or something to seal envelopes after that.
Yeah, I hate the taste of it, but now you've got me scarred even just from your story.
Yeah, I went to glue.
It's like when you hear about people like getting hurt on the workplace, and they say like, "Oh, you do something over and over often again, you start to get sloppy." I never thought it could apply to envelopes.
Oh.
Yeah, because I used to make newsletters. So, and back in the day, I don't know, I just licked the envelopes, and yeah, it went right across the tip.
Oh God.
What?
Oh God.
Anything in the mouth. Someone also texted in the. I think it was like Steve-O and Jackass did like the corners of his lips or the corners of his mouth. Just anything in that area is just bleh.
The fact that people are willing to do it for views,
right,
is crazy.
It's
to me.
Terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Today's been fun because the text line is actually giving me PTSD trauma. People texted in, worst place to get a paper cut would be the eyeball.
A lot of people texted in the eyeball, actually.
I forgot. I had that when I was a kid.
How does that even happen, though?
I was in the back seat of a car, laying across the back seat. It's the only child. We were on a big road trip, me and my folks. My mom rolled the window down, and I was reading one of those, those big Calvin and Hobbes, like, compendium books?
Okay, yeah.
I had one. I used to love those when I was a kid. I had one. I was reading in the back seat. The window opened. The wind came in. It flipped a page I wasn't ready for. And the corner of the page brushed across the front of my eye. And I don't know if it was a full-on paper cut, but I was screaming in pain.
That's a life lesson. Reading is dangerous.
Reading is bad for you. I was literally in the backseat of our car screaming, I'm blind. My mom's driving, freaking out. What do you mean you're blind? Trying to find somewhere to pull over on the highway.
Oh my gosh. All the texts that we're getting right now, you could make a full Saw movie on just the torture being paper cuts.
Just everything.
Want to play a game? Yeah.
Well, especially because this whole thing started with scientists making a machete out of paper that, what'd you say, can cut chicken?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we already have the means to go from small little cuts on the lips and the eyes and the fingertips and everything else to actually stabbing and slicing people with paper.
I mean, if you got into a fight in Staples...
You get pushed over, you fall back into the aisle, you grab a ream of paper. You want to go?
Yeah.
Huh? I got 200 of these.
What office supply would make the best weapon?
It's got to be the stapler, right?
Is it the stapler, though?
You know what? I would like to retract my own statement. Stapler, obviously painful. But a letter opener is a tiny dagger.
A letter opener is a tiny dagger. Also, there is that, like...
the paper cutter.
You know what I'm talking about?
I can tell as soon as you put your arm up
Nobody
in the
can
air.
see what I'm doing right now,
but big lever paper cutter.
It's basically a machete, right?
Yeah. If you could either get someone's, like, arm or fingers in there, or just take that blade part off and start waving it around at somebody.
Even rubber bands can be pretty dangerous.
Dude, I've been hit with rubber bands before that felt like I was getting shot.
Dude, if there's ever a zombie apocalypse, I think like Office Depot or Staples.
Underrated?
Everyone's going to try and go like get guns and whatnot. Yeah. Go to Staples.
Everybody's going to go to your survival type stores, your hunting type stores. You're headed to Staples.
Even just grab some ink, throw it in someone's eyes or something. You can do a lot of damage. I guarantee you could go through Staples and you could be like, that's a weapon, that's a weapon, that's a weapon.
I'm just picturing you on a wheelie chair rolling down the street fighting zombies with a big stick and paper strapped to each side of it. Get out of here.
Yeah, and as I slit you with my paper, I hit the that was easy button.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Olympics, safe to say, is where dreams are made and some people's dreams are crushed.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Watching somebody who like just misses a medal or something like that, it's just like seeing how sad they are. I don't know this person. I've never been to your country, but my heart breaks.
Have you seen the video of the French pole vaulter, Anthony Amarati? Yeah. I'm thinking I'm saying his name right, who got disqualified for hitting the bar with, let's say, his baguette.
I was going to say, you're actually the first person I've seen acknowledge his name. Everybody else just wants to talk about his penis.
Yeah. He's the pole vault guy who hit the pole with his pole.
You know what the bummer is? If you really watch his jump in slow motion, his legs hit first.
Do they?
It's not a good jump. Like, he gets over the bar, his shins catch the bar, which kind of pushes it down, which then pops it back up into his package, which then causes that iconic fold, flap, and flip.
I'm going to have to watch that again, which I guess if you haven't seen the video, text poll to 762-555. But you know what's funny? Is I don't even think that matters because everyone's just distracted on the fact that this guy.
No one is talking. Even like the people who are over there, their job is to call and explain the sport.
Everyone was distracted by the third leg. Yeah,
his legs. Everyone just wants to talk about the fact that we've got slow motion of him getting speed bagged by a pole vault pole.
I seen the video clip come up at least 50 times over the weekend. And it's got to be crushing, that's the way that you go and that's the viral fame that you get, but also it's not the worst way to go out. Right? You get a little bragging rights coming out of the Olympics. You didn't get a medal, but imagine this dude's at the bar or something and some girl comes up and is like, "You were at the Olympics? Did you get a medal?" And he's like, "I would have won a medal, but you may have seen me or my bits."
Yeah, only reason I'm not standing here with a gold medal right now, too girthy. You know how it is.
It is funny because there's another dude in the pole vault who didn't even get over.
His pole flipped back?
Yeah, he got halfway up and fell back down. That dude should be going viral right now.
Right, that's way worse. That guy, for lack of a better phrase, couldn't even get it up. But we're all talking about the other guy.
He's honestly probably thanking his lucky stars right now.
As he's laying on the shale, he's going, well, could have been worse.
The other thing I was thinking is the guy that came after this Anthony dude. Mm-hmm. It's got to maybe suck for him, a little bit.
Having to follow that up?
Yeah, I think he did get over.
Right.
So it's
I think I would want to go after something like that. You're at the Olympics. It is an absolute ball of pressure. It is intense.
Yeah.
To see something like that, I feel like it would take some weight off your shoulders and be like, no matter what happens, it can't be that bad.
Well, here's the thing. Here we are sitting talking about pole vaulting. Do either of us know who actually won?
Oh, absolutely not.
That's what I'm saying.
Not even a slight clue.
This guy didn't win the gold medal, but he wins at the end of the day.
He is, in the end, the most famous pole vaulter in the world right now on account of the smaller of his poles.
Not that small, though. Not that small, actually.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
That dude has to live with this for 4 years now.
Someone texted in at 762-555 that apparently he got offered $250,000 from an adult website. I found it. It's that Cam Soda one.
Man, those guys are all over this stuff.
It says, as a lover of crotch-centric activities, we'd love to offer you up to $250,000 in exchange for a 60-minute webcam show.
60 minutes? Who's got the time?
But I mean, a one and done kind of show, and then $250,000.
I mean, with the money that amateur athletes make these days, that's probably pretty tough to turn down.
They said they want a 60-minute webcam show in which you show off your goods, minus the crossbar, of course.
Fellas, next time you're talking to your lady, ask her if she's interested in crotch-centric activities, by the way.
He's got to at least get a good sponsorship or something. Maybe, what's that underwear that keeps it tight? Is it Stacks?
Sacks.
Sax. That's what it is.
Yeah. Sax underwear would be a good call. Maybe a little baby powder, a little Johnson and Johnson. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could get on there.
Even just Magnum,
Just go for it.
Just go for it, right?
I like a little innuendo, like maybe
Magnum ice cream.
That works 100%.
Yeah.
Or little juicy jumbos, get some hot dog commercials going on.
I mean, if Schneider's or someone does not contact him, Nathan's Hot Dog, any of the big ones there. I mean, Arby's, we have the meats.
Well, he's got the meats all right.
That would be the perfect spokesperson for that, dude.
Pretty much, do pool noodle companies do advertising? I feel like he could probably get on board there.
Yeah.
You know what would be a good advertisement for this guy? Duct tape. Because he learned his lesson. Next time, tape it back.
Tape it back.
You need to present a smooth front, brother.
Either that or maybe like Janko jeans seem to be making a huge comeback lately.
I have room for all my things.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
Let's see what he's got.
Good morning. Now, today's word, mooncalf. Yep, mooncalf. 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 And it's a foolish person or a simpleton. There's a lot of that walking around the streets. Anyways, that's about it. Cheers are up. Have a great one.
Mooncalf?
Mooncalf, which I Googled because I've never heard that one before.
I've never heard it either.
It is the Oxford definition, is a foolish person, but also it is apparently a creature from Harry Potter.
Oh, that's right.
And so now I'm curious where Ed got his word of the day calendar from.
It is also the cow that jumped over the moon.
Is it now?
It's a little baby cow, yeah. That's what it was.
No idea.
That's what it was.
I like that. That's good. I honestly could not see myself calling if someone at work today.
What are you mooncalfs doing?
Right. If you come across someone acting the fool at your work today, mooncalf it feels too playful. It's too fun. Mm-hmm. Stop being such a mooncalf. It sounds like something I would call my kids when they're goofing around.
Mooncalf?
Yeah.
It sounds like a snack. Doesn't
like
it?
A moon pie?
Yeah. Got a couple of mooncalfs in my backpack. I'll trade you for your snack pack.
It's a new competitor for Laughing Cow. It's spreadable cheese from mooncalf.
It also sounds like maybe something that like people who work out a lot getting. They're like, I was doing legs the other day and I got mooncalves.
Listen, I'll tell you right now. I know anybody who's seen our videos or met me in person, I'm a heavier set guy.
You got mooncalves.
I got mooncalves, baby.
Yeah.
They hold up the rest of
It's
me.
like when you get that calf muscle that sticks out a little bit, it craters in. That's a mooncalf right there.
Bro, I'm going to start telling people I got mooncalves. I feel good about it. Thank you, Ed.
You got moo calves.
Stop it. Don't ruin this for me.
Mooncalf.
Use it to hurt someone's feelings today.
Yeah, if you want. It's up to you.
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store. With all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.